يقول راجي عفو رب سامعي محمد بن الجزري الشافعي: الحمد لله وصلى الله على نبيه ومصطفاه محمد وآله وصحبه ومقرئ القرآن مع محبه. وبعد إن هذه مقدمة فيما على قارئه أن يعلمه، إذ واجب عليهم محتم قبل الشروع أولا أن يعلموا مخارج الحروف والصفات ليلفظوا بأفصح اللغات، محرر التجويد والمواقف وما الذي رسم في المصاحف.
محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين. اللهم علمنا ما ينفعنا وانفعنا بما علمتنا وزدنا علما وعملا متقبلا يا أرحم الراحمين. Oh Allah, teach us what benefits us, increase us in knowledge, in good morals and in good deeds, Ya Arhamar Rahimin. So we continue by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's blessings on explaining Al-Jazariyya by Imam Ibn Al-Jazari. And we finished the first two sections by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's blessings, the introduction and Makharij al-Huruf. Turn towards me, Ya Isa. So in the introduction, Imam Ibn Jazari radiyallahu anhu, he told us the main topics he's going to cover. What does he say, rahimahullah, in منظومة المقدمة فيما يجب على قارئ القرآن أن يعلمه? He says, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, Alhamdulillah wa sallallahu. Or first, what does he say? يقول راجي عفو رب سامعي محمد بن الجزري الشافعي الحمد لله وصلى الله على نبيه ومصطفاه محمد وآله وصحبه ومقرئ القرآن مع محبه. وبعد إن هذه مقدمة فيما على قارئه أن يعلمه، إذ واجب عليهم محتم قبل الشروع أولا أن يعلموا مخارج الحروف والصفات ليلفظوا بأفصح اللغات، محرر التجويد والمواقف وما الذي رسم في المصاحف من كل مقطوع وموصول بها وتاء أنثى لم تكن تكتب بها. So that is the introduction. We covered it in details, line by line, word by word. And inshallah we'll go on. Then he started explaining those topics in details. In the first section he covered what? What did he cover in the first section? Makharij, right? We explained Makharij Huruf in details, all of them. And we said the most important topic was what? Makharij of the letters, that you know exactly where every Arabic letter is reduced at. Right? So the last section that we covered almost in 10 classes, I think. Lower it a little bit because it's making this noise, right? Unless if you're not annoyed by it, leave it.
No, that's okay.
That's okay, خلاص. So, I think we spent 10 classes on Makharij al-Huruf, right? Which is the most important section. Now, he's coming to the second most important section, which is what? Sifat al-Huruf. It's not enough to know where the letter is produced. Why? Because we have some letters, they are produced from the same makhraj. How are we going to distinguish them? Like, as he says, وَالطَّاءُ وَالدَّالُ وَتَا مِنْهُ. He's telling you ta and dal and ta, they come from the front part of the tongue. How are we going to distinguish them? By sifat al-huruf. The attribute of the letters, the qualities, the modality, the characteristic of the letter. This characteristic of the letter distinguishes it from the other letter that comes from the same makhraj. So it's not enough to know the makharij, you have to know sifat. This is what he said. What does he say? إِذْ وَاجِبٌ عَلَيْهِمُ مُحَتَّمُ. It is mandatory, necessary, or necessity on them, means on who? On those who would like to recite the Quran. أن يعلموا قبل الشروع أولا أن يعلموا. Before they start, they have to know. To know what? مخارج الحروف. The exits of the letters. The points of articulation. مخارج الحروف. What else? وَالصِّفَاتِ and the sifat of the letters. لِيَلْفِظُوا بِأَفْصَحِ اللُّغَاتِ so that they can pronounce the best of their languages, the most eloquent, which is the correct classical Arabic language. So now he explained makharij, and now he's moving to the second section, which is what? Sifat al-huruf. Sifat al-huruf al-Arabiyya, or characteristics or attributes of the Arabic letters. What does he say, rahimahullah, here? So let's remember also makharij before we go to Sifat al-huruf. What did he say? مخارج الحروف 17 على الذي يختاره من اختبر للجوف ألف وأختاها وهي حروف مد للهواء تنتهي ثم لأقصى الحلق همز هاء ومن وسطه فعين حاء أدناه غين خاؤها والقاف أقصى اللسان فوق ثم الكاف أسفل والوسط فجيم الشين يا والضاد من حافته إذ وليا لضراس من أيسر أو يمناها واللام أدناها لمنتهاها والنون من طرفه تحت جعلوا والراء يدانيه لظهر أدخلوا والطاء والدال وتا منه ومن عليا الثنايا والصفير مستكن منه ومن فوق الثنايا السفلى والضاء والذال وثا للعليا من طرفيهما ومن بطن الشفة فالفا مع أطراف الثنايا المشرفة. Then what does he say? للشفتين الواو باء ميم وغنة مخرجها الخيشوم. So in these lines he explained the makharij of the Arabic letters. So whether you are learning Arabic or you want to learn Quran, this is a common topic here. Because reading the Quran requires you to know the Arabic letters correctly. And reading Arabic or learning Arabic also requires you to read the Arabic letters correctly. So we explained the first section. Now he moves to the second section, which is Sifat al-Huruf. What are the qualities of every Arabic letter? The minimum Arabic letter has 4 qualities. The minimum Arabic letter has 4 sifat. We're going to learn them inshallah. So what does he say in this section? He says, in 7 lines, he summarized all of the sifat of all of the Arabic letters. He says, صفاتها جهر ورخم مستفل منفتح مصمتة والضد قل مهموسها فحثه شخص سكت شديدها لفظ أجد قط بكت. Take your binder. مهموسها فحثه شخص سكت شديدها لفظ أجد قط بكت وبين رخو والشديد لنعمر وسبع علو خص ضغط قد حصر وصاد ضاد طاء ضاء مطبقة وفر من لب الحروف المذلقة. Then صفيرها صاد وزاي سين قلقلة قطبوجد واللين واو وياء سكنا وانحرفا قبلهما والانحراف صححا في اللام والراء وبتكرير جعل وللتفشي الشين ضاد نستطيل. In these 7 lines he summarized all of the sifat of the Arabic letters. Rahimahullah. So let's go to the first one. And before we start the first one, we have to know that in some tajweed books they mention some of the names of the letters or some of the titles of the letters that talk about where these letters come from. This is not our topic. Our topic is what? The sifat that if you don't apply, they will affect the letter. That's what we're talking about. The attributes of the letter that if you don't apply, if you don't pronounce, if you are unaware of, then the letter will not be pronounced correctly. These are the sifat that we are talking about. As you can see in tajweed, we mean by sifat al-huruf, the sifat that if not applied, they will affect the sound of the letter, such as hams, jahr, rakhawa, qalqala, etc. Tamam? So in case you hear some words or by some sheikhs or in some books that there is this sifa or that sifa, these are shajari letters or these are lathawi letters or lithawi letters. They're just telling you the names of the letters based on where they come from. These are not sifat of the letters that affect the pronunciation of the letter. So what we need to learn is what? The sifat that affect the pronunciation of the letter. So what is the sifa of the letter? Is the way it is articulated with. Not the place, not the point of articulation. No. It is how this letter is produced. The modality in which a letter is articulated, which differentiates it from another letter. Tamam? This is the definition of sifa. This is what sifat al-huruf means. Tamam ya shabab? Sifa of the letter or the attribute of the letter is what? Is the way or the modality in which a letter is articulated that differentiates it from other letters. Why do we need to know the sifat of the letters? Why is it so important to know the sifat of the letters, ya Shaykh? Why is it so important? So did you did not catch the first one, right? So let's catch the definition, ya Shaykh. Sifa of the letter is what? The way or modality in which a letter is articulated that differentiates it from other letters. Now, why is it so important to know the sifat of the letters? As we mentioned, many letters, they share the same makhraj. Sin and Sad and Zay, they come from the same place. How are we going to distinguish between them? By the way the Sad is coming out. In the Sad and the Sin and the Zay, three of them, what do? You place the tip of your tongue at the base of the lower teeth, like this. In three of these letters, you make this. You place the front part of your tongue or the tip where? At the base of the lower incisors. The lower incisors, the lower front teeth, like this. Then you bring the teeth close. Now, they come from the same place. What makes Sad different from Sin, different from Zay? Is the sifa, is the modality of this letter, is the attribute of this letter. Tamam? So, why is it so important to know the sifat of the letters? Because there are many letters that come from the same makhraj and they cannot be distinguished from one another except by the sifa or the sifat. This is why Imam Ibn Al-Jazariyya mentioned in the introductory verses that whoever wants to read the Quran, the Holy Quran, he or she must learn the makharij and sifat of the letters as well. Is that clear? So when you know that Sad is heavy, right? When you know that Sad is heavy and Sin is light, even though they come from the same place, but with Sad you have to raise the back part of your tongue and make it curved. This will make Sa different from Sa. From the front, do you see any difference between S and As? Can you see any difference? S, As. Can you see any difference from the front? Nothing. No difference. So what makes them different? It's a sifa of isti'la, the attribute of isti'la, which makes the letter what? Heavy. Tamam? Now we have, for the sake of making it easy, the scholars, they made the sifat of the Arabic letters into two categories. Sifat that have opposites and sifat that don't have opposites. Sifatun laha ضد, as you can see ya Shaykh, صفات الحروف العربية. صفات لها ضد, attributes that have opposites. وصفات لا ضد لها, صفات that don't have opposites. صفات لها ضد, or they call it متضادة, means they have opposites. But the other ones that don't have opposites, صفات غير متضادة. The total of all of the sifat is 16. He summarized them in 7 lines. We have 16 sifat. 8 of them are sifat that have opposites. And how many that they don't have opposites? 8, right? Yalla, let's go right away with the sifat and mutadadda. Why it is mutadadda? Means they have opposites. Means this, every letter, it must have either this sifa or its opposite. So based on this, when I tell you there are 4 sifat in Arabic, for the letters, 4 sifat, they have opposites. So the total is how many? 8. If we have 4 sifat that have opposites, so the total of the sifat that have opposites is how many? 8. Right? All 8, right? This means every Arabic letter must have at least how many sifat? Every Arabic letter? 4. 4 sifat. Every single Arabic letter must have at least 4 sifat. What are those 4 sifat? The sifat that have opposites, one of them. One of those pairs of sifat that have opposites. In addition to that, it might have one of the other 8 sifat that don't have opposites. Tamam? So who knows the possibility, the higher number or the highest number that of sifat that a letter can have in Arabic? 12, excellent, 12. 4 of the opposite of the sifat that have opposite, and it might have the 8 remaining sifat that don't have opposite. But this doesn't apply to any letter. So we don't have. But that's, the logical possibility is correct. But practically, we have the ra. The ra has those 4. Then the ra has what? It has Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina Muhammad. Lower it down. It is annoying me. I don't know how it's not annoying you. But this. So the ra is the one that has most of the sifat, the highest number of sifat. Okay, Jazakallah khair. No, raise it a little bit more. A little bit more. Bismillah, Bismillah. Raise it a little bit more, Isa. Bismillah, 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 Bismillah. Khalas, I'm gonna hold it. Jazakallah khair. Come on. Okay. So the ra has those 4 sifat, and it has also takreer, which applies only to the ra. It has inhiraf as well. So it has 6 sifat. We have the sheen. It has tafashi, which is only for the sheen. Yeah, so as I remember, the ra is the only one that has the high sifat, which is only 6. 4 of the opposite one, of the ones that have opposite, and takreer and inhiraf. 2 of the ones that do. We're going to mention this in details anyway, and by the end of this section, we will know exactly every letter how many sifat it has, right? So sifat that have opposites. So let's start, and this is what he started with, rahimahullah. He said in line number 20, صفاتها جهر ورخو مستفل منفتح مصمتة والضد قل. صفاتها جهر ورخو مستفل منفتح مصمتة والضد قل. That is the first line in which he summarizes the sifat that has opposites. Then he explains the letters of those sifat. I'm going to read to you the whole section before we continue. I already read it, didn't I? I read it, right? Okay. So يلا. صفاتها جهر ورخو مستفل منفتح مصمتة والضد قل. صفاتها. What does صفاتها mean? صفاتها means what? يا عيسى. صفات plural of صفات. Plural of صفة. But صفاتها, its attributes or their attributes?
There.
To who it refers? There, it refers to who? To the letters. So صفاتها means what? Their attributes. The attributes of what? The letters. صفاتها. Let's see the line. صفاتها, line number 20, which is the first line in this section, the third section of Al-Jazariyya. صفاتها, colon. When we have a colon, means he's telling you what are those صفات. جهر, that's the first one. جهر ورخو مستفل منفتح مصمتة. How many? How many? 5. I told you 4, right? I'm going to tell you why he mentioned 5, but they are practically 4. Then what does he say? Look, he put a comma. Now he said وَالضِّدَّ قُلْ. وَالضِّدَّ means the opposite, right now. وَالضِّدَّ means the opposite. قُلْ means say. So he's telling you these are the 5 sifat, then say their opposite. So these are the sifat that have opposites. Jahar, Rikhu, Mustafil, Munfatih, Musmat, then their opposites, which are also 5. So وَالضِّدَّ means what? وَالضِّدَّ means the opposite. قُلْ means what? قُلْ means what?
Say.
قُلْ هُوَ اللَّهُ أَحَدٌ means what? Say. Allah is one and only one. قُلْ أَعُوذُ قُلْ, right? So قُلْ means say. This is a command. Okay? Command for the singular person. طب يلا. جهر, that's the first sifa. Al-Jahr. Rikhwan, he means rakhawa. Mustafil, he means istifal. Munfatih, he means infitah. Musmatatun, he means ismat. So here he mentioned the attributes of the letter, that this letter has jahr, this letter is rikhu, this letter is mustafil, this letter is munfatih, this letter is musmat. These are the adjectives for the sifat, for the letters, sorry. Or the adjectives for the words of the sifat. So if you want to say a letter has the rakhawa, so you say, if there's a letter that has rakhawa, you say it's rikhu. This is why he said rikhu. If a letter has istifal, you say it's mustafil. Now we're going to learn the names of the sifat, of those 4 or 5 sifat. The first one he said jahrun. So the first sifa is what? Al-jahr. What's the opposite of that sifa? Is al-hams. He did not mention it because it's understood. And not only understood, he's going to mention it now in the second line. He's going to say in the second line what? He said mahmusuha. Look here, he said sifatuha, their sifat. Now he's going to say mahmusuha, their hams letters are. So here he told you jahr. What's the opposite of jahr, ya shaykh? He told you in the second line mahmusuha fahathahu. He told you in the second line what's the opposite of jahr, and he told you right away the letters that have hams. So you know by this the letters that have hams and the letters that have what? Jahr as well. Is this clear? Okay. So the first sifa is what? Al-jahr. And it has, its opposite is al-hams. We're going to explain them in details. Second sifa, what did he say? Sifatuha jahrun wa rikhwan. The second sifa is rakhawa. What is it? Rakhawa. And its opposite is ashidda. How do you know? He said in the second line, mahmusuha fahathahu shakhsun sakat, shadiduha lafdu ajidqatin bakat. So he told us here we have a sifa of rakhawa. Okay, Yashir, what's the opposite of rakhawa? He told you in the second line right away, he told you shadiduha, shidda. And he told you at the same time the letters that have this sifa, which is the shidda. Now, these two sifat, shidda and rakhawa, they have a sifa in between. It's called bayniya. The sifa The letters that are in between. They're neither shadid nor rikhu, they're in between. Number 3, what does he say in the line? Sifatuha jahrun. What's the opposite of jahr? Hams. Jahrun. Wa rikhwan. What's the opposite? Rakhawa. Shidda. And between them, bayniya. Now, sifatuha jahrun wa rikhwan. Then what? Mustafil. Mustafil. Istifal. That's the sifa. Istifal. What's the opposite? Isti'la. How do you know? He said, in the second line, he said, مهموسها فحثه شخص سكت شديدها لفظ أجد قط بكت وبين رخو والشديد لن عمر. He told you between رخو and شديد there's these 5 letters which are in between. وبين رخو والشديد لن عمر. Now he says وسبع علو استعلاء علو وسبع علو خص ضغط قذ حصر. See how amazing he's putting them. He's telling you the sifa, and he told you its opposite in the second line, along with the letters of that sifa as well. So by this you know the sifa, and you know its opposite, and you know the letters that have each sifa. Okay, or the letters that belong to each sifa. So third, istifal, and its opposite is what? Al-isti'la. Al-isti'la. Finally, so what did he say? Sifatuha jahrun ورخو مستفل منفتح انفتاح منفتح انفتاح. What's the opposite? إطباق. How do you know? He told you in the third line in this section. He said وصاد ضاد طاء ضاء مطبقة إطباق. وصاد ضاد طاء ضاء مطبقة إطباق. He did not only tell you the opposite of infitah, no, he told you what is the opposite, and he told you the letters of that opposite. By this you know the letters of itbaq as well as infitah. We're going to come to them in detail. So these are the 4 sifat that have opposites. Well, but he said 5. He said صفاتها جهر ورخو مستفل منفتح. Then what did he say? مصمتة. What is مصمتة? That's what we're going to start with, so that we finish from this sifa. Because it's not related to tajweed, then we start with the sifat that are related to tajweed, and we don't know why Imam Al-Jazariyya rahimahullah mentioned this sifa here, even though it's not related to tajweed in a direct way. But there's a benefit, we can inshallah mention it. That might be the reason for that. Anyway, so this means that every Arabic letter must have 4 sifat minimum, right? What are those 4 sifat? Let's read them one last time, Ya Shaykh. الصفات المتضادة للحروف العربية. The صفات that have opposites for the Arabic letters. الجهر والهمس. جهر and its opposite is همس. الشدة والرخاوة وبينهما البينية. الاستعلاء والاستفال. الإطباق والانفتاح. These are the 4 صفات. Now he said مصمتة. مصمتة. What is musmatatun? And what's the opposite of ismat? He said in the line, in the last line, in the 4th line, he said, he said, وَصَادُ ضَادٌ طَاءُ ضَاءٌ وَصَادُ ضَادٌ طَاءُ ضَاءٌ مُطْبَقًا. We're done with that. Now, وَفَرَّ مِنْ لُبِّ الْحُرُوفُ الْمُذْلَقَةِ. وَفَرَّ مِنْ لُبِّ الْحُرُوفُ الْمُذْلَقَةِ. Now, by these 3 lines, he summarized the 8 صفات that have opposites. صفاتها جهر ورخو مستفل منفتح مصمتة وضد قل مهموسها فحثه شخص سكت شديدها لفظ أجد قط بكت وبين رخو والشديد لن عمر والسبع علو خص ضغط قذ حصر وصاد ضاد طاء ضاء مطبقة وفر من لب الحروف المذلقة. That's it. 4 lines. Now, so he told us the opposite of ismat. What is the opposite of ismat? Is إذلاق. وَفَرَّ مِنْ لُبِّ الْحُرُوفُ الْمُذْلَقَةِ إذلاق. So we have ismat and إذلاق. Ismat and إذلاق. What is ismat and what is إذلاق? Let's finish them up since they're not related to tajweed. Then we go on to the first sifa, which is al-jahr. So Imam Al-Jazariyya mentioned 2 more sifat under this category. but they have no effect on the sound of the letters. These two sifat are idlaq and ismat. Al-idlaq means the easiness or the easiness and swiftness of pronouncing the letters, because they come from the dhalq. Idlaq because they come from the dhalq, which means the tip of something or the end of something or the front part of something. What are those idlaq letters? He told you farra min lub. Farra min lub. These letters, fa, ra, mim, nun, lam, ba. How many letters? 6 letters. These letters are called al-idlaq letters. Why? Because they come, some of them come from the tip of the tongue, some of them they come from the lip. So from the side of the tongue or the side of the lip. Fa, mim, ba, they come from where? From the lips. Right? And ra, and lam, and mim, and noon, sorry, ra, and lam, and noon, they come from where? From the front or the tip of the tongue. From the front part of the tip or the tip of the tongue. Farra min lub. Let's read that line so that also we cover it at the same time. This is what he says in line 23. وَصَادُ ضَادٌ طَاءُ ضَاءُ مُطْبَقَ. We're going to explain this when we start the practical sifat. Then he says وَفَرَّ مِن لُبْ. See how Shaykh Ayman, he put them in brackets, right? Brackets. وَفَرَّ مِن لُبْ. These letters, فَرَّ مِن لُبْ, colon, means they are al-huruf al-mudlaqa, the idlaq letters. فَرَّ مِن لُبْ al-huruf al-mudlaqa. So why they are called al-huruf al-mudlaqa? Because they come from dhalq of the tongue or the lip. Means from the tip of the tongue and from the front parts of the lip. Or the outside of the lip, or the lip in general. Okay. Idlaq is easiness and swiftness in pronouncing those letters. Because those letters, and this is the point that we can benefit here in regard with tajweed, is what? Many times when we're reading words that have those letters, what happens? These letters escape from our tongue. Because they come from the tip, they escape. They run away. Right? Sometimes you read Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alamin. The runs away. Okay? Mir Rabbihim. Sometimes it runs away. So, and we explain this in the makharij of those letters. We explain how to pronounce them and not to skip them. Now let's take the opposite. So practically, as I mentioned in the beginning of the class, is there something like, when he says these letters are idlaq letters or dhalqiyya, what does that mean? It means they come from the tip of the tongue. Okay, does that affect, is that a practical sifa we need to learn? No, we already know they come from there, right? This is why we said this sifa doesn't have relation to tajweed, practically. Okay, let's see the opposite of the sifa, also that doesn't have relation to tajweed, but just to cover it so that you understand the poem completely, But let me add this point here before we forget about al-idlaq letters. Let's say, note, pay attention to these idlaq letters, since they come from the tip of the tongue or the lip, and they what can we say? They run away. Sometimes they are skipped by many people, or sometimes they are skipped, or they tend the tongue or the lip, and they sometimes, or how I want to say that,
people ignore them.
No, that it's easy for them to fall from the pronunciation. Who can give me the sentence, huh?
Skip would be the best. Skip would be.
Skip. The tip of the tongue or the lip, and since they come from the tip of the tongue or the lip, and this makes them more subject to being skipped. This is what I want to say. Do you understand, guys? That because they come from the tip, they're more likely, or let's say, or they are more likely to be skipped, as happens by some reciters. Is this clear? This happens with me sometimes, especially if you're reading fast. Some of those letters they fall, so you have to go back and read them correctly and pronounce them. Is that clear, Shabab?
We could say that in fast recitation, people don't notice that much.
Say that again, please.
In fast recitation, people don't notice that much on
Yeah.
these letters.
Yeah, because all letters, when you read faster, more likely you'll skip letters and sifat, right? Okay, now let's take al-ismat. Let's take al-ismat. The opposite letter of the opposite sifa of al-idlaq. Al-ismat, ya Shaykh, is what? The opposite of al-idlaq. It means prevention. Ismat from some means mana, means prevention. What are the letters of ismat? Who knows the letters of ismat? They're the opposite of the letters of idlaq, right? We said these sifat are the ones that have opposites. So farra, min, lub, these 6 letters, they are idlaq letters. Every letter else is what? Ismat letters, right? Ismat letters. Why they're called ismat letters? We said ismat means mana, means prevention. Why they're called this way? Because they're prevented from these letters, ismat letters. All the Arabic letters besides farra min lub. They're prevented from constituting a word of 4 or 5 letters by themselves. One more time. They're called ismat letters because they're prevented, means they do not come together to form a word of 4 letters or 5 original letters by themselves. So you will not find an Arabic word that has 4 original letters or 5 original letters that are all ismat letters. There must be among them what? A letter of idlaq. What if we find a word in the Quran or somewhere, an Arabic, a word used by the Arabs, it is made of 4 words, 4 letters, the original letters, or 5 original letters. Sometimes there are additional letters, we skip them, we don't count them. So what if you find a word that has 4 original letters or 5 original letters that are all ismat letters and there's no idlaq letters in that word? Then we know that this is a non-original Arabic word. Got it? If we find a word that has 4 letters or 5 letters and all of these letters are ismat letters and there's no among them idlaq letters, there's no fa, ra, mim, noon, lam, ba, there's none of these letters, this means this word is what? It's not originally an Arabic word. Well, does that have relation to tajweed? It doesn't, right? It doesn't have relation to tajweed. So, let's take examples on this. This is just for you to know what this means. Let's read, ya Shaykh. Al-ismat is the opposite of al-idlaq. It means prevention. The letters of ismat are given this name because they are prevented from constituting a word that is 4 or 5 letters in its origin only by themselves. Means they cannot form a word by themselves. Means there should be an idlaq letter with them. If they do, means if they form a word by themselves, then we know that such a word is not originally from the Arabic language. And see what I said? It's not originally from the Arabic language, but it became an Arabic word. You understand? Like now we have many words in English that are not originally English, right? Check. The word check, it's from Arabic, sak. The word sugar, it's from Arabic, sukkar. Right? The word mile in English, it's from Arabic, meal. Etc. There are many. Coffin, it's from Arabic, kafan. But they changed it. Kafan in Arabic is the shroud. But they use it for what? The box. Right? Right? Which is a different word in Arabic, tabut. So, but now these are English words or not? They are English words, but originally not English. Same thing. So we have the word ghassaq or ghassaq, both. We have ghassaqa in Surah An-Naba, right? Hamima wa ghassaqa, but another narration, which is also narrated from the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, ghasaqa, without shadda on the sea. Is there in this word ghasaq or ghassaq any of the idlaq letters or all of them smart letters? Is there any of the letters farra min lub? No. So we know this is not an Arabic letter, Arabic word originally. Ghassaq, it means the stinky cold water. And it is also the pus and the fluids that come out of the people in the hellfire. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect us. Qistas, same thing. Look at this word qistas. Does it have fa or ra or mim or nun or lam or ba? None of the idlaq letters. So we know it's not an Arabic word. Qistas means mizan, means a scale. Asjad. Asjad. Does it have any of the idlaq letters? No. This is one of the names of gold. Dhahab. One of the names of gold. So these words, as you can see also, you remember in the idlaq letters we said idlaq means swiftness and easiness. These letters are all, notice they're difficult. Asjad, ghassa, qistas. You notice? They're all difficult. So the Arabs usually in their words they should have one of those easy letters. Those idlaq letters. Got it? Okay. Yalla, let's wrap up this sifa ya Shaykh from the screen. So Arabs do not have such a word because it's difficult to pronounce. They said that any word 4 or 5 letters in origin that doesn't have one idlaq letter at minimum is not an Arabic word in origin. Examples: asjad, ghassaq, qistas. And as we notice, these two sifat have no relation to tajweed. They rather relate to the Arabic morphology. Is this clear? Yes, sir.
So
now we start the first sifa practically that is practically related to tajweed.
So in the word ghassaq, that the alif after the sin, does that also count as one of the letters? The 4 to 5 letters?
The alif, some scholars they say it's neither musmata nor mudlaqa, but anyway it's not idlaq. It's not an idlaq letter,
Would
right?
that only be 3 letters?
Farra min
Without
lub.
counting it?
Yeah, it will be 3 letters, but this is ghassa. Ghassa. Okay? And if we count it as ghassa, same thing. Another way to say it.
So letters like Ain, Sin, Jim, all. So Alif, Qaf is also in there?
Any letter other than farra min lub, these are called smart letters. Okay? But practically, as I mentioned, this doesn't have relation to tajweed, right? Okay, just pay attention. The only benefit I can take from this sifa is what? That these letters, farra min lub, the idlaq letters, you really need to pay close attention to them when you're reading so that you don't skip them, because they're more likely to be skipped because they come from the tip of the tongue or the lip. That's it. That's all what we need from this sifa. And this is the question I'm going to ask you in the test, inshallah. Okay? Yalla. First sifa now. Let's go to the first sifa that is practically related and practically connected with tajweed. Al-hams. Again, the first line we explained today. Sifatuha jahrun. Jahrun. Warikhun. Mustafil. Munfatihun. 4. Musmatatun. Forget about it. وَالضِّدَّ قُلْ. Say the opposite. Now he's going to tell you the opposite of every sifa he mentioned, of those 4 sifat. of those 5 sifat and the letters of those sifat. Yalla, line 21. What does he say, rahimahullah? Mahmusuha. Mahmusuha. Their hams letters. Their hams letters. Mahmusuha. What? Mahmusuha fahathahu shakhsun sakat. That's it. Look, he put it in the red color, Shaykh Ayman, may Allah reward him. Mahmusuha fallen means the mahmus letters are what? فَحَثَّهُ شَخْصٌ سَكَتْ. Let me tell you, by the way, farra bin look, just to understand the meaning of those words. You don't, farra bin look, these are just, the scholars, they're just putting these words as combination so that you memorize them. But most of the time they put them in a way that they give a meaning, so that it's easy to memorize them. Farra bin look means, farra means he ran away. Min, from. Lub means V-lub. He's skipping a word here for contraction and for the rhyme. So it's originally farra min lubbin, means he ran away from a person of mind, means a person of knowledge. Okay? That's what this sentence means. And of course, who runs away from the people of knowledge? Only the ignorant ones and the arrogant ones. Only the ignorant ones or the arrogant ones. Or the shy ones. Or the shy ones. This hadith narrated by Imam Bukhari from Sayyiduna Mujahid. Who knows who Mujahid was? Who knows who Mujahid was? One of the prominent students of Sayyidina Abdullah ibn Abbas radiallahu anhu. One of the main students of Sayyidina Abdullah ibn Abbas, the cousin of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam. So, what did he say in Sahih Bukhari? He said, and some scholars attribute it to the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam, but most likely it's his words. 2 people or 2 categories of people will never learn or do not learn. Who are they? Mustahin, a shy person, and mutakabbir, an arrogant person. Right? Mustahin wa mutakabbir, an ignorant person and a shy person. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala not make us of those ones. Yalla. Let's now go back to Al-Jahr and Al-Hams. So Mahmusuha fahathahu shakhsun sakat. Mahmusuha, their hams letters. What are they? Fahathahu shakhsun sakat. All of these letters, this combination of these letters, they are called what? Mahmus letters. What does this sentence mean? Does it have a meaning? Ya Ibrahim, it has. Fahathahu shakhsun sakat. The scholars, they say it's originally sakata fahathahu shakhsun, means he went silent, then someone urged him. Means he was silent, then someone urged him to speak. This is what this sentence means. Okay, what does hams mean? Yalla. What does hams mean? Hams is whispering. When you're talking like this. Okay, Ibrahim, take focus here. This is hams, whispering. And it means voicelessness. What does it mean? Voicelessness. In the English phonetics, as I learned in the English literature in Damascus University, we learned in phonetics, we learned voiced letters and voiceless letters. So voicelessness means hams. Why voicelessness? Because the sound, you're whispering. So it's not voiced, it's voiceless. Right? As if it doesn't have a voice, right? So this way we can translate hams as what? Voicelessness. Tamam? What does it mean? Voicelessness or hams is the flowing of the breath with the letter. What is it? It's not silent letters, brother. It is. They're not silent, but their voice is not clear enough. And this is why we make what for them? We give them breath. We give them that sifa, that hams. So hams in definition is the lack of clarity in the sound due to the openness and stillness of the vocal cords. When you have hams letters, the vocal cords are open and they're still, they're not shaking. So that makes the voice not clear enough. Put your hands on your throat, on the vocal cords, and say as. Do you feel any vibration?
No.
But what about as? Try. As you feel the vibration a lot, but as no vibration. The vocal cords are open like this, and they're not moving, right? So this reduces the clarity of the letter, and because we have weak reliance on the makhraj of the letter. We have weak reliance on the makhraj of the letter. This causes a lot of breath to flow with the hams letters. And this thing will make them sound clearer. Will make them sound clear or clearer. Is this clear? So in a brief, hams means to let the breath flow with the letter so that it can be heard clearly. I'll give you an example. إذا الشمس كورت. إذا الشمس كورت. What's the last letter I'm pronouncing?
Ta.
Because you know ta, but if someone doesn't know the surah, maybe he will not say ta, because it's not like كورت. كورت. But when you say كورت, 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 that's the hams. ألم نشرح لك صدرك. What's the last letter? صدرك. What is it? But when I say صدرك, صدرك, see, صدرك, then it's clear. تمام? That is the hams. As you can see, it's very important sifa that affects the clarity of the letter. Right? Now what's the opposite of hams? Jahr. The jahr letters. What are the jahr letters? All letters besides فحثه شخص سكت. What does jahr mean? Non-flowing, that the breath is not flowing with those letters. Why? Because they're already clear. They are voiced already. Is this clear? Very easy, right? Very simple. So now whenever you have one of those letters, what should you do? You have to let the breath flow with them. Right? Get us Waqqad. Uthman, please see, is there a tissue box there to show them the hams? Okay. So let's look at the picture. Al-hams, as you can see, al-hams is what? هو الخفاء في السمع نتيجة انفتاح الوترين الصوتيين وعدم اهتزازهما. No, not this. Yeah, there's a box inside, next to the microphone. Inside there's a box. وجريان كثير لهواء النفس. This is a real picture of the vocal cords. This is a real picture of the vocal cords. How are the vocal cords? Are they open or closed, ya Ibrahim? They're open, right? This will make what? Yes, Jazakallah khair. This will make barakallah. This will make what? A lot of breath flows, right? A lot of breath flow with the letter, and they will not shake, and they're not closed, right? So when we have the hams, what will happen? You will see the breath, huh? When I say kuwirat, F, fa, that's the fa, right? Fa, fa, hatha. I'm gonna apply to all of them. Fa, f, ath, ash, as, ak, at. Did you notice? With all of them, we have a breath. What about, look, as, you see, it's not moving, no breath with them. Those are jahr letters. Now who else can tell me the most prominent, or the letter that has the clearest ikhfa, the clearest hams? Huh? No. You did not notice it? It was very clear. Huh? Fa. Fa, because it's right at the lips and they're opened, right? The fa has the clearest hams. F, yahfaz, fa. fa. Is this clear? Okay. So that is the hams. Let's take some words and a common mistake that some people make with the hams. Then, inshallah, we move to the jahar, which is the opposite of hams. It's easy, but still we're going to explain the opposites as well. So let's take some words and rub up. Next time we take an important rule, then we take the jahar. The most important note here in hams is do not exaggerate the hams. Yes, you should make hams. You don't say kuwirat, kuwirat. You don't pronounce it as jahar. You don't pronounce it without a breath. At the same time, you don't exaggerate the breath. You don't say, as some people do, kuwirat, as if he's adding what? A seen letter, a seen sound. Yeah, 2 minutes, two or 3 minutes, inshallah. You can pray sunnah if you like, if the time entered. So what is the mistake? What's the mistake?
They make it seen.
Is do not exaggerate the hams and do not mix it with seen as some people do. Okay? Yalla, let's read some examples and we'll be done for today, inshallah. Tabbat. Yalla, practice. Tabbat.
Tabbat.
وجاءت سيارة.
وجاءت سيارة.
Here, most people, they don't pronounce the hams of the ta here, especially with the seen. And because it needs a lot of attention. وجاءت no. And this is why, by the way, some qurra, some reciters, some Arabs, they merge it. They say وجاء السيارة. This is a correct reading, but not in Hafs. So in Hafs you have to read it this way. وجاءت سيارة.
وجاءت سيارة.
كلما خبت زدناهم.
كلما خبت زدناهم.
خبت خبت زدناهم.
خبت زدناهم.
كورت.
كورت.
انكدرت.
انكدرت.
واتل ما.
واتل ما.
كذبت ثمود.
كذبت ثمود.
أخبارها.
أخبارها.
والسابحات.
والسابحات.
بسطة.
بسطة.
واستفزز.
واستفزز.
We explained when we talk about the fa that you don't say, if you say واستفزز as some Arabs do, واستفزز, in our slang we pronounce V with many letters. We say واستف. That's wrong. Show the hams with it. واستف. ولا يؤوده حفظ. So آية الكرسي حفظهما.
حفظهما.
Last example. ومن listen, يكرهن. يكرهن.
يكرهن.
Okay, inshallah we'll take more words on this next time, inshallah. صلى الله على سيدنا محمد وآله وصحبه